In this video, let's go ahead and practice evaluating some numerical expressions together. Basically, we're going to follow the order of operations and we're going to complete one operation at a time and go ahead and evaluate or solve each of these expressions. Keep in mind, we're going to be dealing with some integers here, so if you haven't learned how to multiply, divide, add, and subtract negative numbers, then you might not be quite ready for this video yet, but otherwise, if you are, let's go ahead and give them a try. All right, so for number one, we have -2 minus the 6 times 3 plus 8. Now, the first thing we're going to do here is take a look at the multiplication, which is this 6 times 3. So we're going to go ahead and just copy everything down. We have this -2 minus 6 times 3, which is 18. So that multiplication gets to go first here between these operations. Then it looks like we have subtraction and we have addition here. Now, they're equally important, so subtraction is going to go first. Now, -2 take away 18 is going to end up being -20. So we're going to have -20 plus 8. And then -20 plus 8, there's really only one operation left here. So -20 plus 8 is going to equal -12. So that's going to be the value of this expression. Alrighty, for number two, we have another expression here. So looks like we have three operations. I think multiplication is going to go first here. So we have this 2 multiplied by -5. 2 times -5 is going to be -10. So we have 6 minus this -10. And then we have to also take away 3 here. We have two subtraction problems here, but we're going to do the one to the left because we do whichever one comes first from left to right. Now 6 take away -10 is just 6 plus 10, so that's going to be 16. So we have 16 minus 3. With only one operation left here is just 16 minus 3, and that's going to equal 13. All right, and number 3, it looks like we have a few operations here. Division is going to get to go first here. So we have this -7 plus, but then we have this -8 divided by 2. Now -8 divided by 2 is going to be -4. So let's go ahead and write plus -4 here and then plus 5. We have two addition problems here, so we're just going to do the one on the left. So -7 plus -4 is going to be -11. Then -11 plus 5, that's just going to be one operation left here. So adding -11 plus 5, we're going to get -6. All right, for number 4, if we take a look at this expression, I think the division is going to go first here. It's going to be more important than both subtractions there. So we have this -4 minus, and then 18 divided by this -3. I guess we don't really need parentheses around that 18, but it's okay if it's there as well. But that's going to end up being -6, okay, and then take away 7. All right. Now, if we take a look at this left side here, we have two subtraction problems. We'll do the one on the left. This -4 minus this -6 is -4 plus 6. That's going to equal 2. Then we have this 2 minus 7. That's the same thing as 2 plus -7, and that's going to equal -5. All right, here's number 5. All right, in number 5, let's go ahead and start with the multiplication here. We have this -5 multiplied by -3. That's going to be +15. So we have this -9 minus +15, and then -4. We have two subtraction problems. We'll do the one on the left here. So -9 minus 15, that's -9 plus -15, which is -24, and then -4, which is the same thing as -24 plus -4 if we think about it as an addition problem, and that's going to be -28. All right, for number 6, and for these operations, we're going to choose multiplication out of all of these to start with here. So 3 times -4, that's going to be -12. So we have 7 minus this -12. And then we're going to go ahead and take away a -5 afterwards. All right, so we have two subtraction problems. So let's do the one on the left. So 7 minus -12, or 7 minus a -12, is just 7 plus 12. That's going to equal 19. 19 take away a -5 is really the same thing as 19 plus 5 as an addition problem, and that's going to equal 24. For number 7, we have 3 different operations here. Out of these 3, let's start with division. That's going to be the most important. So we have -27 divided by 3, which is going to be -9. So we have 5 take away -9, and then plus 6. So we have addition and we have some subtraction here. They're equally important, so do left to right. So 5 take away -9, that's 5 plus 9, that's going to be 14. And then 14 plus 6, that's just one operation left. 14 plus 6, that's going to equal 20. For number 8, between these 3 operations, we should start with division. So we have -20 divided by -5. A negative divided by negative is going to be a positive. So we're going to have this -4 take away 4, a +4, and then -6. Now, between these two subtraction problems, let's do the one on the left first. So we have -4 minus 4, which is just -4 plus -4, which is going to be -8. -8 minus 6, That's the same thing as negative 8 plus negative 6 as an addition problem, and that's going to be negative 14. All right, let's try number 9, and for these ones going forward, we're also going to be introducing using some powers or exponents as well, so keep that in mind. All right, so in number 9, it looks like we do have a power. We're going to start with the power there, so 2 to the third power, that's 2 times 2 times 2, which is going to be 8. So let's copy this down. We have negative 2, and then we have a plus 8, and then a minus 8 that we just found, and then we're subtracting this 15 divided by this negative 3. So we're only doing one step at a time here. Now between all these operations, the division is going to be the next most important. 15 divided by negative 3 is going to be negative 5. So we're going to have negative 2 plus 8 minus 8, take away, and then when we divide that, we're going to get a negative 5. So let's go ahead and give a hug around that negative 5 there. Looks like we have 3 different operations. We have addition, subtraction, and subtraction. They're all equally important, so we can go from left to right here. So negative 2 plus 8 is going to be 6. So we have 6 minus 8, take away a negative 5. Now we have 2 subtraction problems. They're equally important, so go from left to right. 6 minus 8 is going to be negative 2. So we have negative 2 take away a negative 5, which is the same thing as negative 2 plus 5 if you rewrite it as an addition problem, or think about it as an addition problem, and that's going to equal positive 3. Alrighty, for number 10, out of all these operations, it looks like we have another power here. We have this negative 3 to the second power. That's negative 3 times negative 3, and that's going to equal a positive 9. So we're going to have this negative 6 minus 2 multiplied by this negative 4, and then we have plus 9. Okay, now it looks like we have 3 operations here. Multiplication is going to be the most important out of these 3. So we have 2 times negative 4, which is negative 8. So we have negative 6 take away a negative 8, and then plus 9. All right, we have subtraction and addition. They're equally important, so let's do the subtraction first. Negative 6 take away a negative 8 is just negative 6 plus 8, which is 2. So when we have this 2 plus 9, we can go ahead and just add 2 plus 9 and get a final value for this expression of 11. Alrighty, for number 11, it looks like we have a few different operations again. I think the power is going to go first again out of all of these. So we have negative 3 to the third power. That's negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3, which is going to be a negative 27. So we're going to have this negative 32, and then divide that by 8, and then take away, and then this is going to be a negative 27. Be sure to give that a hug, and then take away a 5 here. All right. Between these 3 operations of division, subtraction, and subtraction, division is going to go first. Negative 32 divided by 8 is going to be negative 4. Negative 4 take away a negative 27, and then take away a 5. We have 2 subtraction problems here. Let's go ahead and do the one on the left. This becomes negative 4 plus 27, which equals positive 23. Positive 23 minus 5, that's not too bad. That's going to equal 18. So that's going to be the value of this expression. All right, for number 12, we have a few different types of operations, but we're going to start with the power as usual here because it's the most important out of all these. We have negative 1 to the 5th power, so that's negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. That's just going to equal a negative 1 because we have an odd number of negatives. So we have negative 3 multiplied by this negative 4. Then we're going to go ahead and take away a negative 1. Make sure to give that a hug, and then take away 9. We have 3 operations here. Multiplication is going to be the most important. So negative 3 times negative 4 is going to be a positive 12. So we have 12 minus this negative 1, and then minus a 9. Between these 2 subtraction problems, do the one on the left. So we have 12 minus negative 1, or 12 plus 1, that's going to be 13. And then 13 minus 9, that's just going to be a positive 4. All right, here's 13. In number 13, we're going to start with this power here of negative 2 to the third power. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is going to be negative 8. So we have this negative 15 divided by 3, and then plus, let's go ahead and put a hug around this negative 8 here, and then we have this minus 3 multiplied by this negative 4. Okay, now between all of these operations here, let's go with division. Even though division and multiplication are equally important, this one comes first in the problem. So negative 15 divided by 3 is going to be negative 5. So we have negative 5 plus this negative 8, and then we have this minus 3 multiplied by this negative 4. All right, between these 3 operations, the multiplication was the next most important earlier, so that's going to go next now. 3 times negative 4 is going to be negative 12, so we have negative 5 plus this negative 8, and then we're going to go ahead and take away a negative 12. We have addition and subtraction, which are equally important, so just go left to right. -5 plus -8 is -13. We have -13, take away this -12. And then basically we can think about this as -13 plus 12, which ends up being -1. Alrighty, in number 14, out of all these operations, let's start with this 3 to the third power. That's just positive 3 to the third power. So 3 times 3 times 3, that's going to be 27. So we have this -7 multiplied by -1 minus this positive 27, take away 6 divided by this -2. Alrighty, so we have 1, 2, 3, we have 4 different operations. Multiplication and division are tied to go first here, but multiplication comes first in the problem, left to right. -7 times -1 is going to be +7, so we have 7 minus this 27, and then we have -6 divided by this -2. All right, going from here, we said that division was tied with multiplication, so the division is going to get to go next here. So 6 divided by -2 is -3, so we have 7 minus this 27 minus, and this is going to be a -3. We have two subtraction problems, they're tied, so let's go from left to right. 7 minus 27 is going to be -20 minus this -3. And if we have -20 minus this -3, we can think about this as -20 plus 3, which is equal to -17. All right, looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different operations. The division and multiplication are tied for first place here, so the division comes first in the problem. We're going to do that first. -20 divided by 4 is going to be -5. -5 plus the 16 minus the 3 multiplied by 3. Between these three operations, the multiplication is going to go first. 3 times 3 is 9, so we have -5 plus 16, and then minus this 9. Between addition and subtraction, they're equally important, so go left to right. -5 plus 16 is 11, so we have 11 minus 9, and then finally 11 minus 9, that's just going to equal +2. All right, finally for number 16, out of all these operations here, let's go ahead and start with the power once again. So this is -5 raised to the second power, so -5 times -5 is +25. So we have -4 multiplied by this -7 minus this +25, and then -18 divided by 6. Now, out of this 1, 2, 3, 4 different operations, we have multiplication and division tied to go next. Let's do the multiplication because it comes first, left to right. -4 times -7 is +28. So we have 28 minus this 25 minus 18 divided by 6. Now, out of these operations, that division is going to go next here. That's just 18 divided by 6. So we have 28 minus this 25, and then minus 3, since 18 divided by 6 is equal to 3. Now we have two subtraction problems. We go left to right. 28 minus 25 is going to be 3. And finally, we just have 3 minus 3. So this final answer here is just going to equal 0. Alrighty, so there you have 16 different practice problems where we went ahead and evaluated some numerical expressions. We followed the order of operations. For these particular problems, we had to deal with some integers, so we dealt with some positives and negatives as well. If you found the video helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up and sharing with a classmate or friend who might also find it helpful. And as always, keep up the great work that you are already doing, and I'll see you in the next one.